I'm here to recruit you for the Army of Pink.
Launched by Glendale Adventist Medical Center to raise awareness about cancer.
If we just had a cure.
I believe in the cure for breast cancer.
I'm asking you to join the Army of Pink. Go to glendaleadventist.com/Army of Pink.
Vote for the Army of Pink. Please join us
in the fight against cancer.
We need your support.
Vote for Deputy Fire Chief Bob Doyle.
Vote for me.
Vote for me, Dr. Viken Sapilya.
Vote for me, Captain Carl Povolitis.
Give me a break. You know I'm the mayor, right?
Cast your vote for the best candidate in pink.
Welcome back to HEALTHline. The conversation is all about addiction, and joining Jennifer and myself is the director of GAADS, Glendale Adventist Alcohol and Drug Services. And before we left, we were talking about the beginnings of addiction and alcoholics, and we were talking about a gentleman named Mr. Rush. But isn't Bill Wilson the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous?
Bill and Dr. Bob.
I guess,
and the wife.
Yeah, I don't want to miss the opportunity. You know, Benjamin Rush, signer of the Declaration of Independence, Dr. Benjamin Rush. And then from then up until now, there's been great movement to try and help people to understand that this is a disease and that it's treatable. So there were movements in the 1800s. In fact, Adventist Health, which began really at a sanitarium in Battle Creek, Michigan, had a treatment modality for inebriates, for drunkards of that time. Fast forward to 1935, New York stockbroker, Akron, Ohio doctor, Bill Wilson, Bob Smith came together. They had both been members of a thing called the Oxford Group.
Got it.
Some spiritual principles that helped alcoholics and other people with difficulties in their lives.
You said 1945 or 1935?
35. And when they came together, they started to realize that one alcoholic reaching out and helping another could be the foundation for people to recover.
Correct.
And so they carried that forward. Alcoholics Anonymous published a book in 1939 when there were literally only a few hundred people potentially in recovery. And then it got some great publicity and it started to grow. There was an article by Jack Alexander in the Saturday Evening Post. Alcoholics Anonymous was flooded with letters. They took on some growing pains and made a pledge of corporate poverty. Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't affiliate with our hospital or any hospital or anything else.
I love that it's an organization. I mean, I love that the 12 steps do exist for there's different types of 12 steps.
That's right.
But also, I think it's like so important that not only do we know that, but we know like, what do you do if you know somebody that's sick with a disease?
Trouble.
Or what do you do if it's you?
And I was saying earlier, Scott, sorry, just like signs and symptoms. How
Sure.
do you know if you're in trouble? In regards to like Jennifer said.
Okay, so
In
first
trouble,
and foremost,
trouble.
No, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trouble. Hello, I'm the poster child for
gorgeous.
trouble.
We're a capital T together. How do you know if you're suffering from an addiction? Let's go alcoholism.
so if we go with alcoholism, the first thing for a person to do is seek medical attention. And the reason I say that, not straight to Alcoholics Anonymous, is that in acute alcohol withdrawal syndrome, for someone who's drank a large enough quantity over a long enough period of time, about 20% of those people will have a seizure if they're not treated for medication during their withdrawal. Okay. So if you or someone you know out there watching HEALTHline tonight knows somebody who wants to stop their drinking problem, they need to get medical attention first.
But what if they're in denial? Like, what if you're like your friends or you're living with somebody or you know somebody who's in denial? How do you approach them? How do you say, please, you need help, or here you need to go to the hospital?
How do you know there's a problem?
Yeah, how do you know? Like, if they just drink on the weekends?
How you know that there's a problem is when a person is having functional impairments in their life.
What does that mean?
When a person's drinking his impairments, when their drinking has caused problems in their important relationships, in their finances, in their employment, in their spirituality, in their sexuality.
So their life is shifting.
If their normal habits in life are interrupted by their drinking or drug use, they probably have a problem.
Okay, and that's not just with alcohol, it's also drugs and other types of addictions. Okay, more when we come back on signs and symptoms, and help is right here at Glendale Adventist Medical Center's very own GAADS. Do not go away. Here I am at GAADS, Glendale Adventist Alcohol and Drug Services program, and joining me is Director Scott Robertson. Scott, great to have you.
Glad to see you again, Greg.
Scott, bottom line is, why would someone walk into the doors of GAADS?
A person would come here who is having a problem with alcohol or another drug. Also, people who have a family member who's having a problem with alcohol or another drug can inquire, can come, they might have a tour, get an orientation to what we do. And if a person is identified as having a problem, we offer free assessments. They're confidential, and it could give them an introduction to our service.
And that's really important because a lot of people think if they walk in through the doors of any treatment facility, there's a price to it. So
That's
bottom
right.
line is it's free. Scott, what is the most important takeaway you want a patient or family member to have once they go through treatment here at GAADS?
Well, once they have had a really highly individualized treatment episode, my hope is that they'll follow up with us. You see, we have a whole year of continuing care.
That's great.
That includes the family twice a week, the patient up to 5 times a week, all the way out until 6 months, and then once a week for the patient all the way through 12 months. So what they would take away is a whole support system for their recovery and a support system for their family's recovery as well.
What I love that you're saying that is that there's a whole year follow-up too, because it's not just a quick fix. It's you also need to start your life over and start living differently.
Absolutely right, Greg. You know, the change that takes place, in recovery it's said that it's an inside job. We know that's true, but the way the inside job comes is by putting your feet in the right place first. And that means they keep coming back. They return to us. We have more than 500 visits per month into family therapy activities, and even more than that into continuing care.
For anyone that is suffering or struggling, how can they reach out to GAADS?
Easiest way, Greg, is for them to contact us. They can go to GAADS.org. That's Glendale Adventist Alcohol and Drug Services, or GAADS.org. Or they can call us, 818-242-3116, 24 hours a day. Assessments are free. They're confidential, typically during business hours.
Thank you, Scott. So you heard it from Scott Robertson. Make a phone call. Assessments are free. You don't have to go through this alone.